now. So starting on your back, and just get warmed up in a way that feels right to you. Maybe some pandiculation where you invoke the big yawn and kind of allow your body to naturally move in a way that feels right for you. If you're somebody who needs to stand up and do some sun salutations, go ahead and do that. And we'll get going here in just a second. So I often find for myself anyway, when I first start practice, it's my low back that kind of it feels impacted. So a few pelvic tilts or some windshield wipers. Maybe drawing the knees into the chest. Great. And then everybody take your legs long and take your arms overhead and just reach and yawn and stretch and look for some space in the rib cage, the rib basket. And then we'll take the soles of the feet to the floor and just press up. No arms needed, but you could also bring the arms, press up into a dynamic bridge and roll yourself back down. Don't have to go too high. We're going to actually get into a lot of bridge variations. So you could just lift the hips and roll down one vertebra at a time. Just a little full body movement. And then come to resting position. So soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, hands on belly. And let's just visit real quickly a really awesome exhale. So on your inhale, let your belly rise. And on your exhale, draw your navel up and in and press your low back to the floor. Maybe tuck your chin. Get all the air out on the exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. Long exhale, really try to push all the air out. So the exhale is what allows us to contract everything, right? And sort of protect the core, the proper core, the low back, the belly, the sides, right? So this time as you exhale, see if you can pull the navel up and in, but not flatten your back to the floor. Leave a little space underneath your low back. Inhale. And exhale. And a couple more rounds. Great. Great. And then let's just inhale and take the legs up and the arms behind you. And exhale, draw your knees in and draw your head and shoulders towards your knees, hands onto your knees. Inhale, legs up, arms behind. Exhale, pull your knees in, lift your head and shoulders. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Really emphasize the length of the exhale. Really draw the exhale out nice and long. as you push all your air out. Let's do 3 more. If your neck is bothered by this, you could just rest your head in your hands instead of having your hands free or on your knees. Either way is fine. We just want to start to feel a little fatigue in the front of the abdomen, maybe the hip flexors. Great, then you can take your block right underneath your sacrum, straighten one leg, bring the other leg in, or straighten both legs at the same time. Just depends on the low back, how that feels on your low back. Just give a little relief to the front of your hip flexors. And then leave the block right underneath your sacrum. Bring your arms into robot arms, feet parallel to one another, soles of the feet to the floor, and then just press up with your hips and touch the block with your hips as you come down, and just press up and come back down, and take about 20 rounds here. See if you can slow the exhale down. Squeeze your buttocks in as you press up with your hips. Then just touch down. And once you feel pretty comfortable with that, just move the block out of the way. And then you'll touch all the way down to the floor and press back up. All the way down to the floor and press back up. Keep a little arch in your low back as you just touch your buttocks down to the floor and press back up. Inhale brings you up, and the exhale, you touch down. Good. Next time you touch down, straighten both legs. Stretch your arms overhead. Good. And then you can let your arms rest to your sides or out to the T. Bring your feet together like you have a mermaid tail. Slide your heels towards your buttocks, just so your knees they're not all the way bent up towards your chest, but just halfway. And then knees over to the left. Then straighten your legs back out. Slide your heels up towards your buttocks about halfway, and knees over to the right. And then you straighten the legs back out, slide up, knees to the left. Straighten the legs back out, slide your heels up, knees to the right. Go back and forth with this a few times. Getting into the little bit more of the obliques, the side of the waist here. If you want to try lifting the legs, you can. You can slide the heels up and then drop knees over to one side, then touch down, slide back out, slide in, lift the heels, knees over to the other side. You choose. And let's do 2 more on each side. And then this last time, straighten the legs back out, reach the arms overhead, pressing through one heel, the opposite heel. And just take one full breath in, sort of the Shavasana shape. Give yourself a teeny little rest here. Great. And then we'll take the knees, bend the knees again. You'll need your block again. And you're going to stack your knees over your hips and take your block into your right thigh, right elbow to the block, and left hand behind your head. Press the knee into the block, press the elbow into the block, and then lift your head and shoulders off the floor, resting in your left hand, and reach the left leg long for 3, 2, 1. Release, head back down, both knees stacked over your hips. And then here we go again. Stretch the left leg long, press right elbow into the block, press right knee into the block, head and shoulders are lifted. You're resting your head in your left hand for 3, 2, 1. Then release, come back down to the floor. Come up on the exhale, and press your leg into the block, your arm into the block, opposite leg goes long, resting head in your hand. Inhale to come down and take a break. Let's do one more on this side. Inhale, you stack both knees. And then from here, just drop your feet to the floor, slide the block underneath your sacrum, and one leg at a time, just stretch out the leg. You can leave the other foot on the floor, then the opposite leg. It feels okay. You can take both legs long for one full breath on each side. Then we slide the block out, stack knees over your hips, take the block to the left leg, and I've got mine on medium setting. That seems about right for me. Left elbow into the block, right hand behind your head. On your next exhale, you press the block with both leg and elbow, reach the right leg long for 3, 2, 1. Inhale brings you back down to the ground with your head and shoulders, both knees stacked over your hips. Okay, so we got 4 more on this side. See if you can really lengthen the exhale out. Remember to press with the elbow, press with the leg, so you're pressing into the block. And I'm not sure where we are. Maybe this is the last one. And then soles of the feet to the floor, lift your hips, slide the block underneath. Take one full breath with one leg extended, releasing the front of the hip. And then the other side, if you're doing both legs at the same time, good, you get a couple breaths there. Excellent. Press both feet into the floor, lift your hips, take the block, stack your knees over your hips again, and now take the block to the right leg again, but left elbow. So you're coming across your body, right hand behind your head, press, extend the left leg long for 3, 2, 1. Your release takes you back down to the floor. And then on your next exhale, up again. Inhale, come back down. Exhale. Squeezing the block between the thigh and the elbow. Inhale back down. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then next time you land back down, both feet to the floor, slide the block underneath your sacrum, one leg at a time. Great, last set. So now we take the block to stack the knees again, take the block to your left thigh, bring your right elbow into the block, left hand behind your head. On your exhale, you come up and reach the right leg long. Squeeze all the air out. Inhale, come back down to the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more on this side. And the next time you come down to the floor, soles of the feet, last time, slide the block underneath, stretch one leg, one full breath, and the other leg long, one full breath. And then you can slip the block out, keep it handy, you're going to need it. And now you're going to take your strap, and you're going to take your strap or your TheraBand, either one will work, and you're going to bring the strap around your thighs. Make sure you don't have any twists in it. And you're going to bring it pretty tight so that your thighs, as you push against the strap, your thighs are parallel to one another. Right? I'm turning so you can see here. Thighs are parallel to one another. And about hip distance apart, and then soles of the feet to the floor. So now we just press up to bridge, but pull the strap apart with your legs, and then touch back down, and then press up into the bridge, pull the legs apart, and touch back down. So working the hips, right, which are part of core. Good. So moving up and down again, slow it down a little bit and really emphasize the long exhale. And you can do this on the kind of what we normally do is the inhale brings us up, or you can change it and have the inhale bring you down and come up on the exhale and press against the strap and draw navel up and in. Maybe just see how it occurs to naturally do it in your body, where the breath is. Okay. Let's do about 6 more here with the strap. You could also inhale, press up, exhale, stay, and press out against the strap. Take an inhale and then exhale, lower down. Lots of options, yeah. Hopefully you're finding a nice rhythm for this. And then after your next one, you can take the strap over to the side. Reach your legs long, take your arms out to the side, take one full breath in the Shavasana. Great. Then from here, you'll need your 2 blocks, and you'll need your 2 blocks set up side by side. Okay. And those are going to be for your feet in the bridge. If you don't have 2 blocks, you could do anything that we've already done. Just again, if you have the 2 blocks, the soles of your feet go on the block. And here we go. We're going to press up now and then lower down. Just touch your booty and press back up. Hopefully you've got your blocks set up either on your sticky mat or someplace they're not going to slide around. That would be a disaster, right? All right, and we're really getting hips up high. Really squeeze the glutes as you come up into this bridge press. All right, and let's let that one go. You can scoot your blocks over to the side and roll on to one side for Anatasana. All right, starting maybe with your hand resting in your head, elbow bent. Make sure the elbow is in line with the rest of your body. And then engage your lower side waist. So lower side waist on the floor, and stretch that arm out and the bottom arm out, resting your head on your outstretched arm. Draw the side waist up and find your balance first here. So the balance here is really a lot due to the obliques. Right, then we're going to come into the tree pose here. You can use your top arm out in front of you for a little balance. So holding Vrikasana in this side position, and then we're going to play with extending the leg, the top leg. So inhale the leg up, and exhale, bring your toes down and touch the floor in front of you. Inhale, extend the leg up, and exhale, bring your toes down in front of you and touch the floor. So on the exhale, drawing the navel up and in, drawing the side waist up. Top hand can be out in front of you for balance, and then play around with taking the hand away. And continuing to lift the leg. If it's uncomfortable for you in the position where you're completely outstretched, go back to holding your head with your hand. I'm really working just with the core here to keep that side waist tight as you inhale and exhale. Good. The next time you touch down, let's just sweep that top leg back, take your foot with your hand, get a little stretch and relief in the front of the thigh. Beautiful. Then we swivel to the other side. Again, you can rest your hand, your head in your hand. Make sure your elbow is not pulled in though, like the elbow is pointing straight ahead. You've got your legs stacked in Tadasana. Find your balance first, pull the side waist up. You can use your top hand to help you. So as much as possible, your body's in one straight line. And then find Vrikasana. Good. And then from the Vrikasana, we'll extend the top leg, touch toes somewhere in front of the outstretched bottom leg. Inhale and exhale. This side might be different, so you can play around with removing or not using your hand, but really just using the core to keep you balanced. You'll start to feel this. You should start to feel this in your glutes. Next time your toes touch down, you can just sweep that leg back, taking the top foot with the hand. I got a little roly-poly there. Keep drawing the side waist away from the floor, navel up and in. Good, good, good. Then from here, we come right onto our belly. All right, and let's bring the feet together. Move my stuff out of the way. Feet together, starting just with your hands on your little hand pillow, your forehead on your hands, just starting there and inhaling, pressing into the forearms and lifting. Keep the tops of the feet pressing into the floor, and the front of the body and the back of the body the same length. So that's about really a personal position of your pelvis. I have I have a little bit of a anterior or posterior tilt in my pelvis, and my pubic bone pressing down into the floor. That tends to keep my back body nice and long. Good. So just a few times here, just to warm up our back. Pressing elbows into the floor, lifting, lowering back down. See if on your exhale, you can actually draw your navel away from the floor. Next time you come down, we'll sweep the arms over to the side and rest your forehead on the floor. And then we'll do a couple rounds with the locust. So lift the shoulder tops, lift the head and shoulders, lift the palms up towards the ceiling, and lift the legs. And we'll hold this for 3, 2, 1, release, and just come down to the ground. Turn one cheek or temple to the floor. You can softly move your hips back and forth. And then other direction. Back to center. Shoulder tops up first. So squeeze the shoulders together on your back. Lift everything up. Shoulders, head, palms up towards the ceiling. Lift the legs. For 3, 2, 1, release. Little soft rocking in your hips as you put one cheek or temple to the mat, and then turn and put the other cheek or temple to the mat. Now this time come back to center, and we'll inhale to lift the right arm, left leg, and head and shoulders. And then exhale, back down, forehead to the floor. Inhale, lift the right leg, left arm. And release back down. Keep the back of your neck long as you go back and forth. So you're just looking right out in front of your space here, not a overly big back bend, really just working more of the back muscles here as you go opposite arm to opposite leg with opposite leg. And go one more on each side, wherever you started. Go one more on each side. When you come down to the floor the next time, slide your hands underneath your shoulders or beside your low ribs and press yourself up and back towards child's pose. Drop your forearms to the floor. So any variation of child's pose here, you could have the knees wide. You can stack your legs, come onto your legs with your upper body. Let's see if you can release your low back here. You might need something between your lower legs and your thighs. And then on your next exhale, come up to all fours. Okay, so do some cat-cow and really just, again, emphasizing the exhale. So on your inhale, lift your collarbones, lift your gaze slightly and arch your back, spread your tail. And then on your exhale, draw your chin in, draw your navel up and in, draw your forearms to the floor and exhale all the way down, air out all the way until you come to child's pose. Inhale, come back up to cow. And on the exhale, really draw the navel up and in, elbows come to the floor, tuck your chin, and allow your exhale to bring you back slowly to the child's pose. All right, inhale and exhale. See how long it can take you to come into the child's pose. Inhale and exhale. Take maybe 3 or 4 more, just like this, where you really emphasize the exhale and you really come down onto your forearms first and allow the exhale to bring you all the way back to child's pose. Good. We're going to meet in child's pose. Great. And then on your next inhale, come all the way up to standing on your knees, reach your arms overhead. On your exhale, really engage your core. As you fold, take both hands behind your back, palms out, and fold down to the mat. Resting your upper body on your thighs, maybe your forehead comes all the way to the floor, not necessary, but keep that engagement in your core. Inhale, sweep the arms up, stand up on your knees. Exhale, folding hands to your lower back. Use the exhale to draw yourself all the way down to the floor. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold. Let's do 3 more rounds here. Then we'll meet in the child's pose. So the shoulders are going through their full range of motion here. We're using the exhale to come down to the floor. Nice long kinetic chain here. Good. So we're meeting in the child's pose. Okay. Next time you inhale, come back up but just keep hands on hips. Just come back up, hands on hips. Great. Take your weight into your left knee and bring your right foot forward. So you're in the 90-90, and then hands to the front of your thigh. Inhale, lift your collarbones, and exhale, come into a lunge. Keep the pelvic floor lifted. Inhale, back up to the 90-90, and on your exhale, draw the navel in, long exhale, keep pelvic floor lifted. And then inhale, you could add the arms. And if you want to take your hands back to your knees, you can. Otherwise, you can keep the arms spread wide. Take the thumbs back like the hitchhiker position. As you come into the lunge, inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale. Come down into low lunge. Next time you're down into the lunge, whether your hands are on your thighs or out to the sides, bring your hands around your front foot, turn the back toes under and press up, the back leg up. Then shift your hips all the way back until you can come into a pyramid shape. Straightening the front leg any amount. Tuck and fold. For 3, 2, 1, then release the front foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. Exhale, belly up and in, forearms to the floor. Really engage your exhale as you come all the way back to child's pose. Inhale, come up to cow. Exhale, turn toes under, press hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. Exhale, forearms, chin in, navel up and in, all the way back to child's pose. Inhale now, stand up on your knees, bring your hands to your hips. Good, weight comes into the right leg now, you bring the left knee forward. Hands on the knee to begin. Inhale to lift your collarbones and exhale, come into lunge. Inhale, lift the collarbones back to the 90-90. Exhale, as you come down into the lunge, keep the lower belly drawing in and keep the pelvic floor lifted. Adding the arms if you want. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, come into the lunge and the hands come back in the hitchhiker position. So opening the collarbones, opening the chest. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, down into the lunge. Inhale. And exhale. Use the exhale to gather at the core. Really help you control the movement. And feel strong in the posture, in the final resting posture here. Next time you're forward in the lunge, either hands out or hands on the knees, slide your hands down around your front foot and straighten the front leg. Actually, I did that in kind of backwards. Turn the back toes under and press the back leg up and then straighten the front leg, coming into a pyramid shape. Take a couple rounds of breath here in this pyramid shape. Hands framing the front foot. Straight leg, front leg as much as possible. And then release the front foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop to your knees, come to cow. Exhale, draw the navel in, forearms come to the floor. Your exhale brings you all the way back to child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale to cow. Exhale, draw navel up and in, forearms to the floor, hips back. Come into child's pose and take 2 full breaths in your child pose. 2 full breaths in child's pose. We'll start from there. Great, then inhale, stand up onto your knees. Once again, hips, hands to hips. And then rest your hips back on your heels, so you're sitting on your heels. If that's uncomfortable at all, just slide a block in between your ankles. Take Virasana. And with your hands in your laps, just close your eyes down. Tuck your chin back, make the double chin. Back of your neck long, just close your eyes down just for a few breaths here. Relax your upper body. Shoulder tops are soft. Low ribs are in. Now, if you're sitting on your heels, you're going to need a block. If you're sitting on the block, you're going to try to transition to a squat on the block. So you bring your feet out in front, right? So you're squatting on the block. Bring your hands forward and press up to chair pose. And for 3, 2, 1, and inhale, come to standing. Okay, good job. Come to standing. And now from the standing position, you're going to need your block beside you. So hopefully you have a sturdy block. Just fix my camera angle here. Sturdy block. Let's take the block to the right foot, the outside of the right foot. So we're going to stand on the block, right? And we're going to have our hips start off even, but we're going to let the left foot kind of reach down towards the floor, and then we're going to make the feet even again. So the hips sort of collapse over to the left, and then you make them even again. So the left foot sort of reaches down to the floor, and then think about Tadasana feet, okay? So you're going to start to feel this in the outer thigh, the glutes, right? Okay. So let's do maybe 6 more here. So again, you're standing on the right foot on the block. Feet are in Tadasana, and then you let the left hip sort of fall down, and then you hike it back up. It's a little bouncy. If you need some wall space, you can do some wall space. I'm just take my camera angle so you can see my feet on this, and then we'll take it to the other side. So left foot on the block. So the feet are in Tadasana, and then I let the right hip sort of sink down. My right hip drops towards the floor, then I hike it back up. It's not a big action, but it's what we do when we walk, essentially. So we're using the outer hip flexors, outer hip muscles to come into this Tadasana shape. Great. Good. And after 5 or 6 more of those, you can come off your block. And now you're going to need, let's see, you need a chair, piece of furniture, or your block. I'm going to start with the chair. The chair in front of me, and I need some space behind me, and I'm going to use the seat of the chair here. So weight into the right foot, bending the right leg. I'm just going to dip down to the chair, both hands touch the chair, and left leg comes out behind me long, and then I come back to standing. And then I dip down to the chair, left leg out behind me, like warrior 3, and then back to standing. Okay, repeat that a few times. Anywhere from, you want to start to feel a little fatigue in the right hip, outer right hip. And we've been, already doing some work here, so it shouldn't take too long, maybe 12 repetitions to feel. Inhale brings you back up to standing, and the exhale is when you're coming forward. So on that exhale, really draw your navel up and in, really scrunch together, pull together like a drawstring, your whole core. That's going to help you with the balance of this. All right. Good, last one, and then you can kind of shake your legs out and we'll go to the other side. So weight is in the left foot now. Inhale, exhale, dip. So it's a dipping at your hips. You got a little bend in the left leg, then you straighten back out. If the seat of the chair is too low for you, use the top of the chair. Use the back of your couch. Anything, it doesn't matter. It's just really getting into the hip work, okay? Good, so then from there, let's go back to the first side. And some of you might want to go to a set of blocks on the floor, a little bit lower. All right, so you could set your blocks up side by side. Weight comes into the right foot. Inhale here, exhale to dip. Lift the left leg. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, dip. Here we go. Really use the exhale to control the movement. And then we'll take the other side. So wherever you are, if you use the back of the chair, the first round, maybe use the seat of the chair. And if you use the seat of the chair, you can try the blocks here. So now weight's in the left foot. Inhale tall, exhale to dip. And we'll meet just in a standing Tadasana. Arms, fingertips reaching down towards the earth. Collarbones lifted, legs firmed up. Take a couple rounds of breath here. And then from this Tadasana, let's spread the feet wide, come into a squat. So squatting, feet lined up with the orientation of the thighs, arms inside the thighs, if possible, pressing elbows into your thighs and thighs back into elbows. You can always take your blocks and stack them and sit on them. You don't have to hold it. Just sort of a little bit of a counter to what we've just been doing. If you're sitting on your blocks, then you can just come forward and come down to the floor. If you're suspended in air, come down to the ground. You're going to need your strap again. If you don't have an 8-foot strap, this probably won't work. But if you have the 8-foot strap with the buckle, we're going to open it to, you probably have a tail maybe about a foot here. I take that on my right side. I'm going to bring my strap behind my back. No twists or turns. I want the strap on my low back and then my feet in the strap. We're just going to pop into Navasana here. So no twists or turns in the strap if possible. Takes a little coordination, but you'll extend your legs out. You can rest your hands behind you to start. Find your balance point here in this Navasana. It's kind of a supported Navasana. It's quite nice. And then draw your navel up and in. Maybe you can take your hands to your strap. Maybe release the hands. Wherever, hands behind you, just as it's just a supported boat pose. Finding your balance point on your sit bones. Keep the low back pulled in, right? So you don't want to slouch here. The collarbones are lifted. Great, and to come out of this, use your hands to support you, bend through your knees, bring your feet down to the floor, and scoot your strap out of the way. Bringing your feet into Baddha Konasana. Nice tall spine. Then from the Baddha Konasana shape, we'll bring one leg into Baddha Konasana, keep one leg in Baddha Konasana, the other in Virasana. And we're going to just bring the knees back and forth. So as I bring my knees to the right, I slide my right sit bone back. Okay, that'll keep me from shifting forward. And then as I bring my knees to the left, I slide my left sit bones back. So I'm just coming back and forth in that windshield wiper movement. And whenever I go to one direction, I just slide that sit bone back. That'll keep me from creeping forward. If this is uncomfortable at all, just go to your back and do the same thing. Good. And then from here, with hands behind you, you can lean back, take your left ankle to your right foot, to your right knee, sorry. And then start to slide your right foot back towards your body, propped up with your hands behind you, you're going to feel this in your outer left thigh, outer left glute. See if you can relax into this. Again, if this is uncomfortable for any reason, just go right down to your back. This is figure 4. I'm just doing it seated here. 3, 2, 1. Then you unwind. Start with the feet a little bit away from one another. Right ankle on left knee. This could be where you stop, right here. If you feel pretty good here, slide the left foot back. Keep the collarbones lifted. You'll feel this in your right hip, right outer hip. Good. Keep the collarbones lifted. So you don't want to compromise and roll back into your back. So if you have to keep the feet a little bit further away, so you have a nice flat low back and or a little bit of arch in your low back, you want to position your foot accordingly, your left foot accordingly. For 3, 2, 1, and you can release that and slowly come down to your back. Take your hands behind your thighs, come down, give yourself a little squeeze. Anything else you want to do for finishing? You know, we didn't have any emphasis on twisting today, but sometimes it's nice to finish with a twist. You could take a twist in both directions. If you're ready for Shavasana, you can take any variation of Shavasana. Knees bent, legs straight, on your back, on your belly, legs up against the wall. And now when you come into the Shavasana shape, let all your effort go. Years ago when I was a bicycle racer and I was first starting to train, I would want to go hard on every ride. And what happens to athletes when they don't rest is you just become mediocre. So now's the resting time. You can let go of all effort. Letting go of all effort. Relax your legs. Let go of any holding anywhere. Relax the muscles on your face. Allow for a soft inhale, soft belly. If you're in the live session, we'll meet in a seat in just a few minutes. I'll close us out for the recording with an Om. Just join in if you feel like it, or wait until we come back up to the seat to join back in. So here we go. Yes, thank you for showing up for your practice. Oh. Namaste.